Good morning, you guys. We haven't done one of these for a while, and I just thought it would be a fun break. I'm working on a friend's country house in England, which is such a fun project. And I have this painting that I got a few months ago that I didn't really know anything about, but I thought it would be fun to look at it. It kind of reminds me of the house that we're working on. And, one of the first things actually I did, which is not always that easy, but you can see the signature on this one, I don't know if I'm in the camera or not, is pretty clear. So I was able to look this lady up, and she is, she was her husband used to be the mayor of Montclair, New Jersey, and she was an interior designer, and she wrote a book about needlepoint and a book about doll houses and a book about gardening. So she sounds like she's, right up the alley of our little cadre here. So now look, we've seen these frames before. This is one of those metal frames. Again, I don't know if I'm in the picture. This is one of those metal frames that has these really short screws, see? And the frame kind of comes apart. And remember what I said before, if you find that you're having trouble with the screw being a little recalcitrant, it might be that you're not pushing down hard enough. And if it's stuck, you're not going to get it out by twirling your screwdriver in the, whatever it's called, the little divot. I like this kind of screwdriver for these things because sometimes they're Phillips screws and sometimes they're not. And so if you sit down with one kind and then, anyway, you get my point. I don't have all of my tools here because I'm pretty sure that this is the last time I'm going to need a tool. Anyway, and so Mrs. Farley was also on the board of the library, and she was sort of just a local, I almost said local hooligan. Well, no, she wasn't. The opposite of that. And she just died this year. So, it's interesting. People, they said she got into watercolor painting later in life. So it's interesting, it's kind of like the blog post I did recently about Hephaestus. The arc of a creative life is long. And, there are a lot of different things you can do with your talents and creativity. So there we go. See how that comes apart? And you can see the pressure on this. That is see the pressure on this cardboard from these springs. Now that's just a nice little piece of cardboard. And alas, this has been taped down, but at least, so now look, we've talked about that before too. You see how masking tape leaves that residue? And sometimes you can get that off with just like a magic eraser or something like that. But this is, I can tell, this is funny. This is a very watercolorist inside thing. I can tell from this black edge that this is Arches paper. And this is a really nice painting. See, there isn't any damage to it. She used a little spatter here to kind of, create some depth, and, it's a very quick wet technique that she's using, but you can see some of her pencil marks in here to kind of stage the scene. This is a really nice little painting. I like the red and the green. And it's in good shape. As I said, she was painting later in life, and she could have painted this as recently as last year. So no condition issues, very happy, cute little thing. And, we've talked before too a little bit, and someday I'll do a blog post about this. But the framing decision here is they did mat it. Not too deeply in there, because remember the signature was visible. I don't necessarily think you have to mat things, but, sometimes artists will paint things with the intention of having it matted. You see, she didn't finish there's no finished line up here. She didn't get the sky all the way up there. And so she was probably planning to mat it. But I always kind of like, you know, to me, it's sort of a game time decision about whether you mat it or not. So anyway, sweet little painting, nicely done with by a creative spirit who was multi-talented. So rest in peace, Barbara Farley. You did a good job. Talk to you guys later.